you on, man. So Kenny, thank you. Come to the podcast.
Okay.
That was like the longest intro. So
ever.
apologies, but it's been a minute. I'm a bit rusty, so I'm trying to get back. But thank you for coming on, man. Like I said, I appreciate it. You know, it's not easy opening up about these things and just like sharing to people what you've been through. Like, so I kind of wanted to say take it from the start of the journey, but I feel like I'll rather use the word more experience, because I feel like grief's not a journey that anyone plans to be on.
Yeah.
So like 2019, 2020, that was, I think safe to say, the start of your, the experience.
Yeah.
So just wanted to share a bit more about, starting from that experience and how it's been, I guess, into more like, more present time.
Well, thank you for having me. Firstly, to be honest, I've never experienced grief like that. Like, I hadn't lost a family member that, not that I cared about, but like, it's like grandparents passed. Like, all my grandparents passed before I was 10. And I never got to meet them like that. So it's not a loss that I felt. I've lost friends, and that was painful, but in terms of like a family member, I'd never lost a family member. And then it just kind of felt like I literally felt like the whole world come down when my dad passed, because I was a daddy's girl. I was a proper daddy's girl. And I felt like it wasn't his time. Like, I felt like it's, because you're never going to be ready for anyone to pass. You know that death is inevitable, but you're never ever going to be prepared for it. But the circumstances around my dad's passing, I think, is what kind of started all of the shaking, if you like. Because he took his own life. Like, he battled with his mental health for quite a while, and he'd made an attempt or two on his life, like a decade before. So like the first time was like 2007, and it was me that found him, and I was just like, this is crazy. But because he survived, I was like, alright, cool, he's still here. But that was like the start of his mental health. And when I kind of think back now about it, there were sort of behaviours that he was exhibiting that were quite erratic, that could have indicated that he was ready to be done with it again, but you don't really focus on it. And when it happened, I just realized it was like, it's so clear how the whole day even went. The day just felt super normal. And at the time, my younger brother lived in Wood Green with his now fiance, and he'd said, "Oh, come round to us for a bit, come chill, we're gonna eat some food." So he invited me, my twin brother, my mum and my dad. All of those guys lived together. I lived with my daughter. So we were like, okay, cool, let's go. I left out and there was bare traffic, and I was just like, this is long, man. I don't want to go, man. So I started making my way. What's usually like a 45 minutes took me, I think, 2 hours to get from Deptford to Wood Green. And I was like, this is mad. But when I got to mad traffic. Yeah, mad traffic all the way. I got past Blackwall Tunnel, and then my brother rang me, my twin brother rang me. He was like, "Oh, Dad's saying he doesn't want to come. He's being a waste man." And I was like, just leave him alone, man. Like, just leave him. If you don't want to come, you don't want to come. Like, is it by force? Came off the phone, and then I called him back. I was like, there's bare traffic. And then I thought, should I turn around and go and pick up my dad? And then I was like, no. He said he wants to be left alone. Like, leave him alone, innit? Because I'm very similar to him in that if I want to be left alone, please actually just leave me there. I don't want to do anything. And because he said he wanted to be left alone, I was just like, cool, leave him alone. Got to my brother's, we were chilling, we ate food and stuff. And then my mum was just belling off his phone. I was like, leave him alone, bro. Like, why did the man said he wants to be left alone? She was like, no, mum, what's going on? Got him. I was like, just leave him. But again, it was because I'm very similar. Like, I don't mind being checked up on, but I'm just gonna air the call. If you call me, I don't want to talk.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna air
you want your space. Like.
Exactly, and he might have just wanted the space because like my mum had like quite a few health issues. I felt like he probably just wanted the time to himself because he was like her main carer.
Okay.
So I think he just wanted the time to himself. And then because of how much traffic there was, I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna leave late. So we all left. I got home. I hadn't eaten properly, so I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna make myself some food and eat. And then I literally had patterned it because I don't know if you remember the circle. The circle was on.
Oh, wait, is that the one?
Is that a reality thing?
Where they're in the hotel and they gotta choose like
They have like loads of these
different
tasks and stuff. So it was the first UK one.
Wait, the UK one's out?
No, this was then. Like this is 2019.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was the first time they had it. It was literally the first of its kind. So I was like, oh, it's the circle fine. Yeah, cool. So got my food, literally sat down with the food, and then my phone started ringing. I was like, okay, maybe they're just calling to say they're home. Answered the phone, and my brother's just sounding like, hello, right? Like, what's wrong? And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, why? Like, oh, Dad's killed himself. I was like, huh? What? And he was like, he's hung himself. I was like, ah, shit. What? My daughter was asleep. My then partner had just left the house because he said he was going to his friend's party. He left the house, and I remember saying, okay, cool, I'm gonna call you back. I gotta go, I'll call you back. Then I called my partner at the time and I was like, yeah, you need to come back home. He was like, why? And I was like, my dad's dead. And even just saying it just sounded so weird to me because I'd never said anyone that close to me, especially my dad. Like, it was wild. And there were just so many emotions. It's weird because I can like, you still feel the emotions. You know, like the feeling never leaves you. And I think I say that to a lot of people. You never forget a feeling. You will never ever forget a feeling. And I remember my partner came back and he was like, "What do you mean your dad's dead?" And I said, "Well, I said, I'm not joking. I don't know. Like, I don't know." And he was like, "Don't go." Why do I not go? It's my dad. And then I was kind of like, "Oh, should I go to?"
Or maybe he's just maybe thinking, like, trying to protect you from just maybe like seeing him in the way that he was. And
I felt like it wouldn't have changed anything. The longer I left it, I was like, no, I want to see him. I want to see him. I think at the time, my partner had told me not to go because he'd not long lost his dad. So his dad passed away the April before, so it was like 5 months. So he was just like, oh, I don't want you to go and get distraught. I was like, I'm already distraught, I might as well go. So he said, all right, cool, let me go. He said, are you okay to drive? I said, I ain't got a choice, I have to go. And I remember calling my best friend and I was like, I need you to come. My dad's died. And obviously she was shocked because how? And I just remember like my heart just beating all the way, but I don't remember the drive. I don't remember how safe I was driving. I remember it was raining. It was just a really surreal like moment. And because obviously this happened at home, like in our family house. I kind of got there and I literally just saw him on the floor, just lifeless. And I was just, I've never seen him. Like, I've never seen him like that. And that was a very strange, it was a really strange feeling to have. Because I was just used to seeing my dad alive. And I remember the last voicemail he left me. I just remember all of these little things, like our last interactions. And it made me question, the last time I spoke to him, did I tell him that I loved him? Did he know that I loved him? Because I think with suicide, like, grief is massive, like, whatever way you look at it. But I think suicide's mental health. It's just, there's like a different layer. And there's so many unanswered questions because of it. It's like, did you do enough? Did you notice this? Did this action mean this? When he said this, did he really mean this? Was he saying goodbye when he said certain things? Like, there were so many questions And then it was kind of like this unfolding of you have to call people and say, oh yeah, this has happened. Had to talk to police, had to talk to the coroner, had to like wait. The wait was the longest wait I think I've ever experienced.
As in,
from calling the police to them coming to collect it from the house. It was a really long period. It felt like days. Like it was a really, really long period. But in the same stretch, it was kind of like, this is the last time we've got together. Like, that's what it felt like. I remember just sitting on the stairs thinking, wow, like, that's my dad, you know? Like, my dad, like, my dad. It was mad because, obviously, like, we're African, so, like, everyone used to be like, oh, your daddy's little girlfriend. Because I just followed him everywhere, like, I went everywhere with him, like, and I used to be like, oh, stop saying that when I was younger. And then it was like, no, man, that's homie, like, and obviously the older I got, like, that was my homie. Like, we never said we were friends, but that was my homie, man. And just being in the house with him that time, just being like, oh, I'm actually never gonna see him again. That was tough.
That's the thing. I think it's almost like, again, I think we've because when you experience something for the first time, there's a lot of things going on in your head. You think to yourself, like, it's almost like that surreal moment. Because I remember, you know, we found out about my mum. Like, I'm just there that moment. Because the thing is, prior to that, because she goes to Nigeria like back and forth. You know, like parents, that's like the second home. They always go there. So like, you know, we had a call from Nigeria, and I said she's a bit ill, and I'm just thinking, yeah, it's just mum, because always going up and down, you know what I mean? So maybe it's just one of those things, she just needs to just like, you know, always just relax a bit. So I didn't really think nothing of it. And the thing is, like, I've never been worried about my mum in terms of her health. And even though, I don't know, maybe that's because the family that showed us from a lot of stuff, me and my siblings, but because she had that sickle cell. So like my aunts and the rest of the family were always like, I won't say onto her, but always like, listen, I know you're a big woman, but we wanted to make sure you're good. So like, I didn't really understand the extent of the condition. I just thought, yeah, it's something that my mom has. But when I look at her, she's not like less able. She's just cool. Like, she would do what she needs to do, go here, travel there, no problem. So it's like, hearing that she's taking time for the worst. Even then I wasn't worried, because it's like, things happen before where she's taking time for the worst. She's pulled out of it. So you just think, okay, this will be the same again. So I remember that morning, just getting ready to go to work. And I thought to myself, you know what? Someone's telling me I should just chill today. I know like she could be cool. But then like, I think for a little bit, I was getting a bit worried. But even then, I wasn't worried. I wasn't as worried as when I found out the news. But it was more just a thing of like, you know what, she's ill. Maybe just say a couple prayers. Hoping she'll call for her. Like, I know she will, sort of thing. So it's like, I remember my aunt got a call, and there was my other aunt telling my aunt, yeah, she's gone. And I remember my aunt just sitting down, just saying in a quiet voice, can you sit down? And I'm thinking, then I knew, yeah, it's mad, yeah, she's gone. But even then, I wasn't really believing it, so I was just like quite hysterical. All of us were just like shouting down the house. And then, like, similar to you, I feel like I don't remember a lot of that first. Would I say the first 24 hours? But those first few hours, it's just doing a lot of stuff. My aunt was already on the phone calling, doing the life admin already. Like, do you understand? And it's mad. You're not even. And I like looking back now, I get it, but it's crazy because at that time it's hard for her because she just learned the news as well. So it's like you're not even processing the grief yet. You're already trying to call. Okay, this bank, these people tell her that this happened, or life insurance, all different stuff, and it's like, how are you meant to even function and do that properly when you just hearing news that your sister's gone? Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy. And I remember I didn't even believe that. I just thought, okay, yeah, I didn't see her, but because she was in Nigeria at the time. So I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, like, no, they're probably gonna say, you know what, like, our bad, and we just thought she left. I know it sounds mad. I know it sounds mad, yeah, but it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know what?
LOL.
Yeah, no, our bad. Because you know it is like, You know, I'm not even gonna say that. I don't want to. But healthcare in certain places are a bit mad. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's like, so okay. So if they said that, cool. You know what? We get it, but sometimes that, you know, it's a very bad mistake. But okay, let's just say they did get it wrong. But I wouldn't have cared because they told me, yeah, okay, she's actually fine. That is just the magic words you want to hear. She's actually fine. But then obviously 24 hours past now, it was kind of sinking in. Like, okay, oh no, it's actually not a joke. Like, and then even then, it was still a bit. It was starting to become real. It was still a bit surreal. But then it's actually going out there. Like, and I think so. I think we went to Nige like a couple of days. Maybe the funeral, rather than Nige, and the funeral was like maybe 3 or 4 days after. Can't remember the exact dates. But then the scary moment was having to like go like see her body and stuff. And obviously that's something I didn't have to do, but I was trying to do the most. Cause I remember telling my aunt that a couple days before, yeah, I'll come and help you like prepare the body. She's like, listen, just relax, chill, like relax. You're not even gonna do that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm probably looking back now. That's maybe that's for the best because I don't know how they've been trying to. Do you know what I mean? It's you don't like you go through life. You don't expect to be doing those things to seeing someone lifeless, let alone like your own parent. Do you know what I mean? So it's tough, man. I remember just doing that. Like, yeah, I don't know. It just felt crazy. I'm like, this is how do you even come back from all of that? Like, when I say come back, I don't mean like, of course, it changes you forever. But how do you at least get back to some form of like, you know, like, I don't know, like, yeah, do you know what I mean? You just think, yeah, I said to myself, this is a wrap. Like, I'm not coming back from that. When I said I don't necessarily mean I was having certain thoughts, but I was just like, yeah, I'm not. How do you function properly after this?
The thing is, I don't think you ever do. My grandma, so my dad's mom, she passed. I know the date my grandma passed. I was like 3 months old. She passed on the 3rd of September, 1987.
Yeah.
I was like 3 months old.
But how do you remember that 3 months old?
Because my dad went on about it all the time.
Okay.
He was religious in commemorating her passing.
Yeah.
I also remember that the date his dad passed away. His dad passed away when we were watching Lion King. That was like 1994.
Like, yeah, I remember he's still shocked. I'm thinking like 3 months. Oh, how'd you?
No, I don't remember that. It's because he told me. Do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry, not the thing. Is that right? All right. We were like 3 months old, and he always used to like talk to us about how she was supposed to be coming to the UK to support my mum because obviously it's twins in it. So
I just clocked now. Because you said earlier you were twins, so now
Tyler, my twin brother.
Okay, yeah.
So,
you're right, isn't it?
Yeah. So she was meant to come, but then she passed away like a few weeks before. She came, and my dad would always tell us like, "Oh, God bless her." So like he was a mummy's boy, and he up until the same year that he died, he would still talk about how much he missed his mum, and he'd still cry about it. So I think witnessing how he was about it was just very much like indicative for me of like it's not something you come back from. You just have to get on with it. And there's not a way around it. Like you just have to deal with it, which is why I get why people don't want to exist with such a big such a big loss. If you're close to that person, it feels like, how is your life going to be the same? How's your life going to be normal? But it doesn't get back to normal. It's just, it stops being normal as you knew it. Yeah. And then it becomes a new version of normal. And things continue to change.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it's almost like, even before my parents passed out, I never thought like, oh, this is something, you know, when you get older, like, I remember just going, okay, cool, you just go to school, work, something, but you don't think, okay, like, at some point, your parents, something, you got to start thinking, life insurance, you're not thinking, like, and obviously, don't get me wrong, you hear about those things back, that stuff like life insurance, but you think, I don't need this, all these cold calls, like, do you want to, I'm good.
I'm good.
But now it's like, maybe start looking into it. So again, it's just like, I feel like grief is that, of course, it can happen to anyone, but I feel like it's really like part of adult life, and it's crazy to say because obviously you don't want to live life, and it's not that I'm living life in some like dark way, you know what I mean? I'm just upset all the time, but it's part of life. As we're getting older, people around us getting older, and not even just that, people are losing their lives, and it's not necessarily a thing of something that happens. Grief is something that happens when you get to an age. It can happen any age. Do you know what I mean? And I know, like in certain like cultures, it's almost a thing of like it's normal to sort of like at some point bury the parents, right? Do you know what I mean? But some people lost children.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So again, something like that, I don't think we'll say it's normal, but the sad thing is that is life. So I mean, like, life isn't gonna care about our customs and cultures, or be like, you know what, let's just, that person wants more time with their loved one. And that sounds mad to say, but that's what it is. That's why it's like, it's the key thing is, okay, trying to like not get over that, but like live like with that group. How can you like still function? Because like I was saying before, like it's not a job. People literally like cease to exist because grief can be so tough or that, and that relationship with having that person that is so much that to a point where they can't see beyond that. And that's saying it's that's why me personally, people should always be mindful of, like, I know when we talk about mental health and stuff, it's almost like with us it's a bit different compared to certain cultures, but we always see it as like, we're not talking about that thing, just sort of, continue living or pray about it. And again, I'm not sort of denouncing prayer and stuff, but sometimes like it's deeper than that.
So
do you know what I mean?
I think with the whole like faith and grief stuff, I think people really need to they need to be mindful, and they need to hear what God's saying sometimes, because sometimes people are like, God will provide, but then they don't do anything about it. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about faith without works being dead.
Exactly.
Like, God could send you a helper and you might be like, no, I'm waiting for God to come down in this situation, and I want to see him
you
myself.
got to help yourself. Like, you can ask him, listen, God, please, but you can't just be like, listen, let me know when it's done, yeah? I'm chilling here. Like, do you know what I mean? You got to be active as well.
Sometimes he gives you the tools, or he gives you the right people to support you through certain things. But I think there's so much focus on I reject mental health. This is not our portion. It's not our portion. Like, and I think it's more our parents' generation.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Because I after I had my daughter, she's 8 now. Just not long after I had her, I got postnatal depression. So I kind of sought out the help. Like, I got counselling, or so many things that I tried, and I thought, you know what, let me talk to my mum. Like, because at the time my dad was in Nigeria, because he was doing that back and forth thing. He was like living in for a bit as well. And I said, oh mum, I've got postnatal depression. She was like, check that. And I was like, okay. She said, pray about it. So I was like, it's not okay. Prayer, cool. You can pray for me. I'm not really in the mind frame to pray right now. You can pray for me, but I'm telling you that this is what it is. And she was like, that's not your portion. You will not suffer. Depression in Jesus' name. But I'm telling you, because I need you to be aware that this is where my head's at. Like, so you can support me in prayer. So you can guide me. Like, tell me if you've experienced it, sort of thing. And there's even when like my dad passed, they were like, all my mum and the siblings, they were like, let's just say he had a stroke. I was like, why? Why would we say he had a stroke? The man took his own life. Like, let's not, like, I think even up until, I'm gonna say a year after my dad passed, our family were under the impression that he had a stroke and collapsed, and he passed. But it's because I posted that he took his own life. And I was like, but I'm not gonna lie about it. Like, he suffered with mental health problems. Like, let's normalize talking about it so people can get the support that they need. Because the problem is that people are getting the support because it's a taboo. No one wants to talk about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I feel like it's interesting you saying that because I feel like that natural response is because maybe because they don't have the tools, and yeah, maybe it's fear of what will the other people in the community think, because something that that they don't really speak about. So for someone to go and say, oh yeah, this is how they pass it, it's almost like, and there's nothing to be shameful about, because it's just reality. And like we're not, and I think sometimes as well, maybe we do get certain like preconceived notions or stereotypes about of how we like certain demographics move. That don't being us, how we move in the sense of, okay, we're cool, we can just shudder things, but it's not a joke. Like it's not a joke, and the sooner, like, I feel like we're in a time where, like, because sometimes I think there's this thing of, it's the snowflake sort of mentality of, you should just sort of get on with things, but sometimes, like, sometimes it's not just about getting on. You have to literally stop and pause and think, actually, I'm not okay. And obviously, sometimes you might feel a bit like ashamed that telling people that, like, something's wrong with you. It's not that you're sick or you got a cold, but it's your mental health. And yeah, a lot of the rebuttals, you can see a therapist. It's cool, and that is good advice. But sometimes, maybe because we're not used to those conversations, so we kind of deflect from it naturally. So in a way, like, in defense of that, mom at the time, she's probably thinking, well, no, we're not ready for this sort of discussion. But that's the reality. That's what I'm trying to say. So you've done nothing wrong either, and she's, in a way, like, maybe she's dealt with it the best way. Like,
she felt.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I feel like arguing it's different, where, like, conversations around these things are a lot more open. Even though you said that your dad, even though he lost his mum, like, he still feels like, we're still speaking about it. So, and sometimes you might think people just get on about it. It still hurts regardless of what age. Do you know what I mean? There's no, like, and that's the thing. We always say it's normal to lose parents at certain, but it will still hurt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no getting away from that. It's still gonna hurt regardless whether you're 25, 30, whatever age. Do you know what I mean? It's still the same. So that's why you always gotta be very, like, gentle with people, and especially, like, again, it's always this. I always feel like it's always around men, or like men. Yeah, the same one that area. We don't talk. Yeah, you see a lot of people who go through stuff, they don't talk. And then when you have certain things of, people taking their lives, and you're thinking, that doesn't seem like it was just like, they were just chilled, or had a certain persona where, like, yeah, listen, I can do anything, but then you hear that. So that's why you can't judge a book by its cover. You also can't. That conversation around mental health needs to happen. There needs to be different things that facilitate it, or if it's not talking, something else that can help. Do you know what I mean? Because it's bad. Like, things happen. You hear someone taking their lives, and you're like, I had no clue this person was. So I know like it's a tough one. It's still a tough one to this day, but I feel like the more like we're transparent about it, the more maybe it might help him. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's difficult. Man. Like, it's even bravery to even just, like, mention on Facebook, this is how we pass, because a lot of the time, it is tough. But imagine, people just thinking, oh, wow, like, you could easily just not mention that, but you're staying true to yourself, and you're I guess, that's why, like, it's important to, like, if someone's able to shine light on this thing, you shouldn't, like, make anyone feel bad for saying something, because that's just the reality.
I think people need to be prepared for what comes from opening up on a social media platform about certain things. You need to have expectations that people are going to ask questions. And if you're not ready for the questions, don't post. I think it's very, very, it's a very, very dangerous space, because not everyone is kind about these things. My dad passed away in the October, and I didn't post anything until a few days after his funeral. And even when I did post that he passed away, I turned off my comments because I didn't want people to. I didn't want the comments from people, because all I would hear, like, later on, I got a couple of inbox messages like, "Oh, sis, I'm really sorry, I didn't know. How could you know? You don't check for me like that, so it's fine." Like, I'm not doing it for sympathy. The people that I needed the support from, I've already got. Like, I'm posting it because this is why I've been a bit ghost.
Yeah.
And it broke me. Like, his passing, the whole process broke me. And because, men deal with grief differently, and I learned that with my brothers, because how they processed it was very different to me.
Well, how like, what do you think was different in terms of how they processed it compared to?
There was, I was more vocal.
Okay.
I'm a vocal person in comparison to my brothers in terms of feelings. I speak about my feelings a lot. They don't. And I didn't know how. I think even until now, I don't know how they process it. Like, if they're okay. Because men don't speak. Sometimes you got to drag it out of them. And it's sad because, like, I think it goes for everything. It's not just grief. Men don't feel safe to. I feel, this is my opinion, men don't always feel safe to speak about their feelings because it's not seen as manly to express emotion. Like, you're supposed to be the strong one, you're supposed to be the person who keeps the family together and all of that stuff. And there was this perception that my dad was that person. He was the strong one. That's why I was shocked, because you're the strong one, like, you're my superhero. Like, you're my superhero. How are you? You can't flop, because if there's no us mere mortals, like, we're not gonna survive. Like, what? Like, how can the captain of the ship be going down? Like, that's mad. But he didn't speak. He never spoke about his feelings, because it was weird for men to speak about their feelings. Like, that expression, man up. Don't be a sissy. Like, don't speak about your feelings. Just be hardened. We don't do emotions, we do logic. That kind of energy. It's not safe. Because this is why there's, like, men don't feel safe, and they'd rather internalize it. And it drives them to other places. Women, we talk about feelings all day. Sit on a podcast, sit on the phone, anyone who will listen, talk about our feelings all day. Everyone knew how I felt about my dad. My brothers never really spoke about it.
Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of the time, because a lot of them do speak about their feelings, when men are speaking about it, sometimes people say, "Oh, why are you talking like girls? That's what girls do." I mean, and sometimes, maybe it is said as a joke, or just, but even with that, but I also feel like as well, even with touching on the whole, like, speaking about feelings, I feel like for me, it's not so much speaking about it, it's just speaking about it in the right environment, like, why to the right people. Like, I'm not saying, like, like, if I can't speak to one of my friends about how I'm feeling, I don't mean that they're a bad friend. Maybe it's just certain friends. Yes, exactly. So you have certain friends for certain things. Friends, and I think, like, as I get older, I realize that that's cool. That's okay, because before maybe you see friendship as okay, as a all rounder sort of thing, where, like, you can speak to them about this, you can do this, that. But sometimes that's not the case with some friends. Like I know that some friends, maybe it's just me, I'm in my own head, but I know there's some friends where, like, I'm not really I know some friends I'm not gonna speak about certain things, and I may never work with them. It's not a thing to say, like, they're not good friends, but I just feel like maybe that's not really for them. That's more so for certain friends. Do you know what I mean? Certain friends that I have, maybe I know I can speak to them, but maybe because I've spoken to them about certain things in the past, so I know, okay, if I should do so now, those are my go-to for certain things, and I think that's cool as well. Like, I don't think there's any I don't think there's a problem with that. I think that's fine. It's not a thing where you value one friend more, but you just know. Just more aware of your friendship, that I don't know, like, just aware of their capacity. Yeah, aware of their capacity. Do you know what I mean? It's not. You know, so I think, but it is important, yeah, to just not only to speak. I mean, speaking is not mandatory, but speaking to the if you are going to speak, speaking to the right people and you're in a like safe environment. Like, you know, some people, like, I don't know, maybe your brothers, their thing isn't speaking, maybe it's something else that helps them mentally. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's just like everyone has their own ways to process, but it is tough. It's tough, and yeah, like I can't even imagine, like, as sort of going through grief as well, but I can't even imagine like going through grief under those circumstances, because it's like what do you do? And again, you mentioned earlier, it's the questions.
Yeah,
it's
you have to be ready for the questions.
Um, and I always was something I sort of like, I say let, but sort of learn to understand with when you know, people into their lives. Often they say, someone always pointed out something to me that really stuck with me. Because a while ago, I interviewed someone on the podcast as well about her sister, you know, taking her life, and she said something really important. And she was like, sometimes when people think of suicide, they just think that person wasn't happy with their life. But she said with her sister, in her sister's case, it was more so they was going through a very hard time. They wanted that particular time to end, not necessarily their life. And it's so, I think that's so important to understand from that point of view, because it should help like tear away all those stigmas. But unfortunately, you're still gonna have those stigmas, you know, regardless. But when you think of it like that, kind of you deepen it a lot more. Like it's more, not just about, you know, their life. That's why a lot even when you hear news of celebrities or they're taking life, you always feel like, yeah, they were happy. In their last moments, they were probably smiling and they, you know, so it's deeper than that. Obviously, I'm not going to say I understand everything on suicide based on that mentality alone, but it's just it's part of it. It's part of it, and I feel like maybe maybe the issue, and maybe it's not no fault of our parents' generation. Maybe they didn't have the tools to understand. There was no one out there really speaking about mental health. It was just like maybe just okay, like just do life, like, you know, look after your family, look after your family, give them a better life. But then what about looking after yourself? Like what? Do you know what I mean? We're just so like we've been like not programmed, but we're just internally we're just sort of just go. We don't really stop and think.
I don't think anyone does. Like, we don't take the time to actually take stock of ourselves, and I think the older you get, you get more and more priorities. But it's weird because I said this literally this morning, because I went to the gym, and I was like, you have to be so intentional about choosing yourself, be it your mental health, like your physical health. You have to be so intentional, and it's not that you're deprioritizing like what your other responsibilities are, but you just have to find the means to prioritize you. So whatever that looks like, whether like for me it's childcare, whether it's can you have my daughter for a couple of hours? I actually just want to go to the gym. Just need a minute. I need a minute by myself. I don't want to focus on what she needs. I want to focus on what I need. And in order for you to kind of be the best version of yourself, particularly when you have dependents, you have to take that time, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a position like my dad's, just because he prioritized everyone. He never prioritized himself. He never ever prioritized himself, because his duty was to his family. He was very much like a family man, like, I'm doing this for my family. He sent us to boarding school in Nigeria for 3 years. It was his decision. My mum weren't on it. She weren't on it at all. She was like, no, they should stay here. And my dad was like, no, it's for their future. They need to go. It's gonna cost a lot of money. And it did. Like, sending 3 children to private school in Nigeria is mad.
That's
Like,
did you so like, because I know with boarding school it's more so like you're staying there, whereas private school is obviously it's a private school where like you don't necessarily stay on the premises, or like boarding school is more so you're in a
boarding school.
Oh, but you stay. Oh, okay, yeah. And what was how long did you go?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was that like?
For me, because I'm a girl, it was alright. It was alright.
I don't know. I always heard tales of boarding school. I'm thinking that
you got shipped. That's what it was.
Like,
it was
that was always like a
It was a punishment.
Yeah, like you know that sometimes when you're bad, listen, I'm gonna send you, and you think sometimes they're bluffing.
I
They're
thought I
bluffing,
was
yeah.
bluffing. Yeah.
Like I remember one time I thought it was peak. You know, I got in trouble in school, like, and my mum was saying, yeah, I wanna, you know, there's one auntie's gonna come to me to Nigeria, and I'm just thinking. So I remember just out of fear, I was just writing a letter, of how I wanted to stay.
To who?
To my mum. I told my sister that basically just tell mum, like, you know, I'm not on it. I don't want to go. I want to change. I want to get into no more trouble. It wasn't like it was this match up, but the thing is, when they use that as some sort of scare tactic, yeah. But you never really think it'll prove it. But sometimes it's just like almost like it instills that fear in you, like, well, listen, you know what? Yeah, I'm not, because you just hear orders that you think are strict, certain bedtimes, or you know what I mean? You just don't know what. But I can imagine on the same side, it's probably character building as well.
It was, I think, just in terms of like how I am, like my work ethic, like my focus, all of that stuff. I feel like that came from being in boarding school, because you have to work hard. Like there's not a way around it. Like, you have to work hard for what you want. Like no one's saying like you can work smart as well. Obviously work smart. Don't be just there on vibes.
Yeah.
Have a plan. And that's something that my dad instilled in me. Like it was crazy. The focus that kind of came from just in terms of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to do in my life, what I wanted to become. Like where I kind of saw myself, like the future versions of me. I think that stemmed from having such like regimented activity in boarding school. With my mum, she was just there. She was just there cheerleading, really. She came for the graduation ceremony and that she wore a big billy and that was her bag. Like when we got to the end and she was there in it, but she would come from time to time, and it was obviously like it was tough because it's what we knew. Like we knew the UK, like we knew we had our friends. We were established.
Oh, so it wasn't. I just realized. So it wasn't as you went from young. So you already established that I
was in year 9.
Okay.
Told,
wow.
No,
okay.
Don't choose your subjects. You're not coming back, bro.
So,
like it was literally year 10. But because it's a bit different. You do 6 years in boarding school in Nigeria, so you have to go from junior school 1 to senior school 3. So it's 3 years in junior school, 3 years in senior school. We did the last 3 years of senior school, and that was tough. Like, because if you don't perform, you don't pass in it. Like you got to study, and this is crazy. Like crazy subjects. Like that you had the physics.
That's what I was gonna say. What you okay. Apart from like math, science, English, is that there's
physics, chemistry, biology. Further maths, Yoruba, what else again? Food, nutrition, design, technology. It was all of them. I think when I did my exams, it was like 9 subjects.
Yeah. And so basically there's like a certain pass mark. So if you let's just say like someone doesn't pass, then what happens?
Repeat the year.
The whole year.
The whole year.
Not even they want to repeat the exam.
Repeat the whole year.
Wow.
Because you had like a series of like we had assessments every 6 weeks, and then at the end of the year you had like your final exam.
Yeah.
So you progress into
the whole year.
Yeah, there was people there's the youngest person. So obviously in Nigeria they don't do it based on age. This country, the class you go into is whatever age you are. So you're going into year 7 because you're 10 or 11. The youngest person. When I started, so the equivalent of year 10, right? The youngest person in my class was 11 years old. What's that?
So that's
I was 15.
11 is what
7.
year? The year 7?
Yeah. So 10, 11, you're year 7.
As in year 7 in UK?
Yeah. So the youngest person was 11.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay.
And the oldest person in my class was 18. So
so it means that so basically they don't. It's not okay. So for example, like see like here, UK, you have year 7s. So your 11-year-olds will be year 7, and then 16 might be year 11s. But over there, it's like everyone's in.
No, so it's the year. Whatever year you're in is your year, but it's based on your ability.
Oh no, because I was thinking you said the youngest person was 11 and older.
Like in my year, that's what I'm saying. Like in my class, the youngest person was 11 years old because it's based on ability. She was hella smart. She was smart.
Because I thought you said you had an 18-year-old as well.
Yeah, we did have.
Okay.
We had an 18-year-old because that's what it was. It's based on ability. It's not based on your age.
Oh wow, yeah.
So you have
that's
to.
That's next level of pressure, though.
That is.
Imagine like you're there working hard and you think you're there 18 or so, and 11-year-olds like just demo you're there falling behind.
That's what I'm saying. But you're forced to work hard and you become accustomed to working hard.
It's next level discipline, though. I don't know if I send my future kids to. Well, I don't know actually. I don't think I send them to this. Maybe because I'm just thinking like, I always hear like it's massive. But it depends and it depends. But yeah, so something like that is definitely character building. Like if you come out the other side, as in when I said that you actually went there to study, work hard, and not just like get involved in whatever all sorts of things that will sway you from doing what you need to do there. I'm sure you come out with a whole different mentality. Like
I think it's a valuable experience, and I think if both my parents were alive, I would tell them now. Like I'm grateful for that. I don't think I articulated just how grateful I was for it because I've not seen it. Like I hadn't seen it in my life. I hadn't seen it manifest in my life until more recently. And it's to the point where I said I would send my daughter to Nigeria for boarding school. But if I did, I'd go with her. I wouldn't leave her.
Okay, yeah.
I'd move to Nigeria for a bit for her to be in school so that I was nearby. Because she's half Caribbean, I know the dad will talk smack, so it's something that I would be interested in doing. But she's 8. I wouldn't do it now. I feel like I'd wait until she was a bit older.
Yeah, but when you went, so because it wasn't like you went. Obviously, you went when you started friends here and all that. So like after the 3 years, so like do you just pick up where you left off? Like how did it work in terms of going back into the this educational system? Just
it was alright. No, so I was a year behind because everyone else had gone college at this point.
Okay.
So it was the end of secondary school. So everyone that was in my year were already in their first year of college. But because we did 3 years of secondary school, we had to go into the year behind. So I was in the class with like all the people that were born in 88. Because that's like my year, like those born in 87, isn't it? I think it was alright because I went to a new college. It was adjusting to a new normal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, normal as I knew it was the UK. Then normal as I knew it became Nigeria. Then I had to adjust to another normal by being back in the UK again. But secondary school was done, so I didn't need to worry about resettling back into secondary school. It was a new set of people in college.
So did you rekindle with old friends, make new friends?
I think it was a mix. I was so rattled though because I had an accent by the time I came back. My accent was strong. I didn't speak. Like I was so quiet for the first few months.
That's interesting. So obviously before you left, you didn't have an accent there. So I guess maybe it depends how long you're there for. Because if you're like, I always find it fascinating. I don't know why. Because even like obviously my cousins in America. And they've been there for a while, so they've got accent. But I always still find it like, I guess if you've been somewhere for long enough, but I always feel like maybe it's over like maybe at least a 10-year span. 3 years is a short time.
Younger.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So you adapt in it. So,
okay.
Like I'd started to adapt to their ways of speaking.
Yeah.
The lingo was different. Like things that they
that makes
say,
sense.
Like,
that makes sense.
I didn't get initially, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm embedded in it now. So this is I'm Nigerian, so I'm going to talk how they talk. Readjusting was hard. But it makes you like very, very resilient because you can't just rely on your parents because they weren't there.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny how like a lot of these experiences, like my parents not being there in boarding school, not in a way has prepared me for now, but like just kind of understanding that they're not always going to be there. There was an understanding that they weren't always going to be there. Like if there's a problem, I can't just like, mom, dad. You know what I mean? Like it's just figure it out. You find a way to figure it out.
That's key though, even just like with that, because when you I guess when you're growing up, man, you're just used to your parents, right? So you're used to that. That is like your anchor. That's the you go to. But they never really. Well, I can't say that it's across the board. Maybe just my perspective. Was never really prepared for. Oh, one day I'm not going to be here. Or there wasn't certain times I had talks with the family or my mom or dad to say, look, one day I'm not going to be here. You just sort of assume that it's just going to be, yeah, you get older and you're going to have your independence, but they're always still there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like my first moment of, okay, not being around family was like uni. And even then I'm not really away because I know like, okay, on the phone I can just call my mom. Like sometimes she'll come visit, bring me like rice or box of Indomie, do you know what I mean? So it's like, they're there. It's not like they're not there. So I feel like how I've sort of learned to be right was just through grief, and it's almost like like I'm an adult now. I'm not saying I wasn't before, but it's like okay, I'm an adult. Yes, it's different. Yeah, it's different. Do you know what I mean? You just learn to like you learn more about yourself. You learn just learn to be a bit more. Like say grateful, but you're just a bit more. How can I put it? Like you just realizing listen, a lot of stuff it's not even that deep compared to what it's like to lose a parent, let alone both parents. Like it's almost like you think everything isn't that deep. So all those like stresses and whatever it may be, it's not to minimize it. People can stress about what they want, but when you lost a parent, like nothing gets deeper than that. For me personally, anyway,
I feel like it can though.
As in that, when I said, I mean in the sense of okay, like whatever happens to me now, what's the worst? What's the worst? What can be worse than that?
Fam.
Do you know? What do you know what I mean? Think of what can be worse. Like,
I'm not gonna lie,
as in terms of like pain.
Do you know what? It's the triggers that make the pain worse, though. Like for me, anyway. So, like when my dad passed, I was like, this is the worst feeling ever. Like it can't get worse than this. Obviously, my mum was still alive at this point, and I remember being so like, come on, I'm gonna look after you because I became a carer, innit? Like I'm gonna look after you. We're gonna get through this. Like there were so many things. Like I'd made plans. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, gonna do that, and then she passed away. Like it was like 9 months after my dad passed. The anniversary is like next weekend, and it'll be 3 years. And I just remember feeling like it can't get any worse than this, man. It's not gonna get any worse than that. My dad passing because my dad was like my guy, innit? Then when my mum passed, I was like, shit, got worse.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt because my dad passed first. The year one passed in 2015, my dad died the year before that. So I was almost like after that year, okay, you know what? Like I was just like kind of praying, let this be the only time that I experience such a thing. Like as in hopefully it doesn't get worse than that, and then bam, October the following year. Yeah. Like so I'm talking on a point of view of like I don't feel like I'm not saying that I can withstand anything, don't get me wrong, but it's just a thing of okay, like losing both parents, what can be worse than that's like I don't know, maybe I'm not trying to be like too naive in it, but I'm just saying like in a sense I know like life will still be hard, there'll still be different things I have to like navigate through. But in terms of just like okay, maybe I can have that mentality more so just in terms of other things that okay, I can get things that I'm mind to because I've been through worse. So the worst I can get, for example, for more content, let's just say like I really want to like I don't know go on X Factor. I don't, but let's suppose I want to go on X Factor. Yeah, I want to audition. Cool. If I get 4 no's, okay, that's cool. That's not going to compare to losing parents. So I guess with that, I'm saying it's more a thing of like okay, let that motivate you to like do things because yeah, okay, even though you may not be successful, but the downside of it's not going to be as worse as bad as losing both parents. I don't know. Maybe I didn't explain that properly, but I just mean it in terms of that.
Like, I know what you mean, but like I can say like my whole chest that it can get worse. Things can get worse because obviously, like my mum passed, and I had like the additional layer of like managing my daughter's emotions as well as mine.
Yeah.
Around grief. And sometimes she gets up. I'm like, why are you crying? It's not your mum, bro. Like, but then my health took a turn for the worse. And it's the triggers that came back. It's the triggers of normally my mum would do this.
Okay.
Normally my dad would do this. So, like obviously, like you would have seen that little bits on like my page and that. But like, I got diagnosed with cancer in 2022, yeah. And the whole year before, yeah, I was like, life could get worse, man. They said, I found a lump, yeah. Like, I found a lump, and I was like, call my best friend. I was like, I found a lump. And she was like, it's fine. Went to the doctors, it's fine. So the whole of 2021, I was like, everything's fine. And it was the beginning of 2022, literally the day before I got diagnosed, and they were like, we're going to need you to come in. And I was like, yeah, but I've got to call you tomorrow. They said, no, we need you to come in. And I was like, I can't come in. I've got to deal with my child. I can't come in. They're like, okay, we'll call you. And as soon as I came off the phone, I was like, everything's not okay. Everything's about to get worse. I know everything's about to get worse. Everything is about to get worse. So the day after they called me, and they were like, we basically got cancer. I was like, fuck. Fuck, it got worse. It got worse. Like, it actually got worse. And now I live with this, like, this notion of it can always get worse. It can always, like, it's just worse as you know it. Losing both parents is the worst you have felt in that moment. But I promise you it can get worse.
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, that's the thing. That's where in something like this, where it's just about, because we don't know what, we can't control those things. Just pray and just, God, please just. Because again, it's not to say that you walk around like, listen, lost both parents. It's not even that, but it's more of a humbling thing where I lost both parents. So I know things can get worse like that. Like, prior to 2014, I was worried about kids. My first last holiday in Ibiza, like, I think, life's good. 2014, 2015 onwards, I don't know what's around the corner. I'm just thinking life's good. So again, like, you just never know. And that's why now it's just more of a thing as you get older, like, these things just humble you. And it's not to say we were like, just, being like, our egos were crazy before that. But I mean humble you in the sense where you just start to reflect what, this life that we have here, literally, it's so unpredictable. And it's not to say you can't, live life making plans or live life just, wishing for A, B, C, but you can do that. But also, I just always say, whilst I'm doing that, I just pray that, I can, the things that I'm thinking about can manifest, because as we've seen, life can take a turn at any point. 100%. No warning. There's no like, let's just give this person more time to live, quote unquote, life. So that's why, like, I feel like it's just helped me to, just be more appreciative of my life and myself, and just the time I have, because you just never know. But of course, like, these things, when you say it out loud, seems like you're just thinking dark. I think it's the truth, guys. You know what I mean? This is life. But of course, we wanna, when I say we, like, I always like refer to we as people in this, like, group. In this group, community, we still want to have, like, live life to the best that we can, even though we've been through something so hard. And like with you, like, I just saw that through your Instagram alone. Like, just, of course, people can share things, doesn't necessarily mean everything's rosy, but even just the attitude you have, like, even just reading the post about, when I initially messaged you, I seen about you talking about your dad before, like, you saw someone that kind of recognized. So it's like that, all these things, it's like, I feel like it's giving other people courage and it's helping them in the process, because you think, right, someone will be down and out, and you come back from surviving cancer, you lost both parents, and you're still able to, do the things you do. That's again, it's not me saying strong, but that's something to, that's encouragement for a lot of people.
I think the thing is, I think it's so difficult, because it's like, am I getting through it because I want to, or am I getting through it because I have to? Like, nobody cares. Like, it's so sad. Like, I was very angry when both my parents passed, because I was kind of like, why can't the world just stop and just acknowledge this massive loss? This is a massive loss. Like, the direct debits were still coming out same week. Like, everything still needed to get done. And again, like I was saying earlier, there's a different layer that you have to kind of navigate when you have dependents as well. When my dad's parents passed at their respective times, he was a parent, so he had us. So you kind of have to put on a brave face. I have to put on a brave face. The days like I really, really struggle with the loss, because we spoke about this like briefly, like when it was your mom's birthday.
Yeah.
Like I see other people celebrating their parents' birthdays. I'm like, oh, fuck you, man. And not like her, like I'm not envious, like I'm not like her, like bun you, like I'm happy for them, but in the same stretch, I'm like, like I never got that opportunity, and it's hard.
It's not. Listen, it's. I agree, man. It's not because I get like that a lot of the time. Like even my mom's birthday was in July, and it was the 60th, so that's like one of the milestones. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? It's crazy. Like I remember the 50th, like we had a party. Like if she was alive, it would be the same thing as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I just hear people, and again, I like it's not me hearing people, but people will be like, having arguments with their parents. I'm thinking,
it's all relative.
It's just and again, I'm not saying that that let me not say that just because I've lost my parents doesn't mean people can't have issues with their parents. But in my head, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If it can be resolved, just resolve it, but because you just don't even know, or when you just feel like people are not appreciating their parents, and then I'm thinking,
I'll play devil's advocate here. You can't hand on your heart say that you always appreciated your parents the way you could have done. Like, and you will always have like certain questions that you might even be like, if they were still here, I would be doing this, I would be doing that. That's cap. It's cap. You might not.
Yeah.
Like
that's a good one, because you're right. So when I say that, it's not me saying that there wasn't points where listen, we're humans and we're not perfect. So there's probably times where our mum was getting our nerves or our dad was getting our nerves. You're just like, I was just thinking, your mum's asking you that you want to come to this party, you're thinking, I don't go to this party. I don't really, not really trying to. So again, don't get me wrong. So we've all been through it, but I guess when you go for grief, you just kind of appreciate. You know what's crazy? Maybe I should have gone to more parties. Maybe we should have just. Germany, but because you don't, and again, we don't know what's around the corner, and it's not.
So with that same with that same approach, in the moments where you see someone else not necessarily appreciating their parents, you're seeing a snapshot, isn't it? You're seeing a snapshot of them not appreciating their parents. It doesn't mean that they don't. Like, there's some people, they are beefing their mum or beefing their dad hard, and them ones, I think they need prayer. That's their own. But we've all experienced moments where we were like, go away, man. I know I aired calls from my mum. I know I aired calls from my dad. I don't want to talk to you right now. It didn't mean that I love them any less. Like, even in the night before my mum passed, she called me and I was getting my daughter ready for bed. And she wasn't feeling well. And then I was like, okay. I was like, I'm just sorting out my life. I'm going to call you back. And then she said, I feel a bit like I feel really, really hot, because it was really hot. That summer was really, really hot. And I remember saying to her, I was like, stay hydrated though, please. And she was like, I will. I said, no, I'm being serious. Stay hydrated. Drink more water. You need to drink more water. And I was like, I'm going to call you back. Let me sort it out. I'm going to call you back. And then I was like, I love you, Mum. I'll speak to you in a bit. I remember coming off the phone. I didn't know that was the last time I was going to talk to her. If I did, I would have stayed on the phone with her. But I didn't know, did I? And the point is, we never know. Like, we don't have sight on when someone's last days are. Like, with my mum had a lot of health issues. And the year before she passed, so it was like June. Actually, no, why am I acting like I don't know? June the 30th, 2019, she was in hospital. She was unresponsive and she got taken from the house. And my dad called me and was like, your mum's unresponsive, she's in hospital. She went into a coma. And then they were like, if we have a do not resuscitate on her file. Like, why? They said, it's gonna be too dangerous. I said, no, please let it be dangerous, like trying it. And then miraculously, over the course of the night, she came round. And me and my twin brother stayed in hospital with her until she was allocated a bed in the ward. And then went home. The day after was my daughter's birthday. That's why I remember it. The day after was my daughter's birthday. And I was like, I remember going to the hospital because my dad sent a video of my mum sending a birthday message to my daughter. And I still have the video. And I remember going to the hospital and I was like, I swear to God, if you ever pull something like that, I will kill you myself. And I remember her laughing so hard about it. And I was just like, no, don't do that again. That's scary. And I always...
It's like, what's happening? Every year that goes by, it's almost like we're passing our, let's say, death day, but it's like we don't, like, you know, when some passes, obviously, they don't know when that's going to be, but I don't know, it's just so mad, because when you think about life, you think to yourself, like, I never thought this would be happening this early on. And sometimes, that's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen, this joke with bang things, if you've seen the film, you've seen Captain Phillips.
Sorry.
No, okay, so, okay, no, but basically, with that, so it's like, I think with that film, there's, Tom Hanks, and he's like without ruining, in case you want to watch it, basically he's like some guy that's controlling like a ship or something, and then it gets infiltrated in it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what I was gonna say is like, with life, sometimes you can, like I said, it's not wrong to like plan out your life and have these aspirations, but life can just come back, well, listen, you're not in charge.
I think.
Do you know what I mean? You're not in charge. Like, you're not in charge. Like,
you're not.
That's crazy. That's how crazy life can be. Like, make all these plans, but ultimately, you have to just hope and pray like they manifest, because you just don't know how things are gonna go.
I think it's smart to live in the moment, but also plan for the future in case you're still here. Actually, you don't know if you're going to be here or not. Like, it's legacy, isn't it? People build and build and build and build. And imagine building so much and not being able to take anything with you. So it's legacy. Like, my parents, they were very, very, like, particularly my daddy was very, very business minded. Mm-hmm. So they had, I was reflecting on this, like, was it yesterday, I think? Like, at the time, my mum was 36. She had 3 children at this point. She had, her and my dad, they had businesses. So they had an off license. Then they moved on to a restaurant. Like they kind of started the whole, like, you know, like Nigerian restaurants, like Tommy's Kitchen, that them. That's that. Tommy's Kitchen. They have one in Deptford.
Is that new?
East Nard. Tommy's Kitchen is old school, man.
Was that before Enish? Tommy's Kitchen.
See, my parents were the blueprint for Enish. In terms of Nigerian restaurants, that was their thing. Like, so people would always go there. Like, so we used to do that. I say we. They used to have like an off license, and then they would sell food out the back. Yeah. And then my dad was like, let's stay there. Okay. So they moved to. They kept the off license, and then they opened the restaurant in Lewisham. Me and my brother, we now own the building because they passed it on. They got, do you know what I mean? Nice. So all of the work that they had, they've now passed it down to us. Okay. Because they can't take it with them.
That's good. So is it still Tommy's Kitchen?
No. So it wasn't Tommy's Kitchen. It's called Niger Restaurant. Okay. And they closed that. So they stopped operating as the restaurant in 2011. So now there's a mosque on the top. We've got Pizza Hut on the middle, and then we've got a club in the basement. Obviously, we don't run it, we're just the landlord, but the building belongs to us.
Nice little residual, you know what I mean?
It is. They also have like their residential house, which my brother lives there. I didn't want to live there because it's a bit triggering for me. I can't lie, because triggers are like obviously a massive thing. And both parents, they both passed at home minutes. So I was like, I'm not gonna. I don't want to. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm cool staying in my place. I think obviously on this point of like legacy and stuff, I think it's important to do things like enjoy your life, go out with your friends, spend time with the people that you love, because you don't know when your last moment is. Like someone, I went on holiday last year, because my best friend and her husband were renewing their vows. And they were like, "Oh, we're going to Mexico." I was like, "Oh, let me come." And then she was like, "Oh, are you serious?" And I said, "Yeah, man. Why not? Like, YOLO, I ain't got nothing to lose. Like, just go in it. Like, I could die tomorrow." But the one thing that I say to people all the time is, you really need to think about like where you are. It's like today. Think about where you are today. If you died later today, if you died tomorrow, would your last moments have been one of your happiest? If the answer to that is no, you need to think about what you need to do to change that. Something needs to make you happy today. So if you die tomorrow, we don't want you to die tomorrow. God forbid you die tomorrow, but if you did, you weren't complaining about something, you weren't on bad terms with somebody. And I used to say to my ex all the time, I'm not gonna lie, I don't care how annoyed you are. I do not care how annoyed you are. You are not going to sleep mad.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's a big thing, man. I think that's a big thing.
But people really underestimate that. Even with my daughter, when she's upset in the night because I've forced her to go to bed, I'm like, listen, stop the crying. You're not going to sleep crying. Because if God forbid I die tomorrow, or even worse, if you die tomorrow, I don't want to know that you went to sleep sad.
Yeah.
And that's a massive thing. I think people just really need to focus on like being happy in their moments. Be happy in the moment. Take advantage of like the life that you have right now. When people throw me a motive, they're like, "Oh, can you come out?" I'm like, if I've got childcare, I'm there. Like, I'm there. I'm out, like, as much as I can, because, like, why not, innit? This life is too serious, you know? Like, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, but how do you stay so happy when both your parents are dead?" What's my choice? I don't have a choice. If I stay unhappy, it's not going to bring them back. It's not going to change anything. The thing that I have control over what makes me happy. So I'm going to choose the things that make me happy. Choose stuff that makes you happy. Because if you go tomorrow, bro, and you weren't happy, no one's even going to care. And this is what I'm saying, like, nobody cares. And that's the sad thing. Everybody's life is just going to get on. I, obviously, it's been nearly 3 years since my mom passed, nearly 4 years since my dad passed. People ain't really checking how I'm coping, like if I'm coping. The only time people know I'm struggling is if I'm like, had a bit of a wobble. When it gets to Father's Day, I hide. When it gets to my dad's birthday, I hide. My dad's birthday was last week. I hide. I don't chat to people. I don't want to chat to anyone. Mother's Day, this year was the first year that I had to make more of a decision. I had to change the narrative about celebrating Mother's Day because I was hiding. But then in that time, me focusing on poor me, I don't have a mum, meant my own daughter didn't have a mum because I was not present. And I had to be really, really intentional and say, you know what, the more you focus on you not having a mum, you're actually robbing your own daughter of having a mum. Because you're not present at all. She had to look after me. And I was like, that's wrong. She's a child. Like, she shouldn't, it was literally a thing of, if you died this year, she would not have had a mum for a few years already. So what difference does it make? So I had to try and change how I thought about Mother's Day. And I allowed her to celebrate me. Of course, it was my own money. She ain't got money. So I was like, "Oh, let's go out to eat. Like, where do you want to go to eat?" She said, "Oh, it's Mother's Day. You choose." And she gave the power back to me. Yeah. So obviously, I paid for it. But it's just money. Money comes and goes. Like, money comes and goes. Like, if you go, the money ain't coming with you. So just spend it. I work very hard. I do like my government job. I do my personal training stuff. Like, I have loads of little bits of money coming in here and there. But I'm not gonna lie. I am very YOLO. Like, so I feel like God will provide. If God doesn't want me to have something, my card will get declined. That's my whole vibe. So if there's a motive, I've agreed to so many motives. I'm like, cool, I'm there. I don't know if I've got money to go, but I'm gonna go. I made a commitment to a $6,000 holiday next year. I was like, you know what? If God don't want me to go, like, I just won't be there. But I promise you, I'll find the means to pay it.
Honestly, that is what everything you said about that is literally my rationale for just, I should have probably done this, but you know what? Yeah. And the day, the way I see it, it's like you're like I don't know if it's like I'm guilt tripping myself, but it's like, you know what? I've been through a lot, so this is deserved because think about it, like, you know, a lot of people you just think, they wouldn't want you to do that. I know my mum for a fact, yeah, both my parents wouldn't want me to, of course, like, grieving is natural if you've gone through loss, right? But I know they'll want me to still live the life I want and be happy. Because similar to you, is like, okay, I'm robbing my friends and family of me. So like, God forbid what happens to me. The last, remember, he was so sad, like, we saw him. Like, that's the thing, I'll never want anyone to feel sorry for me, regardless if I didn't go through it, but even more so because I go through it, I don't want to, poor Jay, his mum, his mum passed, yeah, looks, I don't, you know what I mean? It will never be that, do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, I know, like, my mum, it hurts, it's still sad, do you know what I mean? Like, it never goes away, but I know for a fact, I'm conscious about that, I don't wanna, my lot, wherever it may be, not to say, God forbid, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, but I don't want to be living life out of misery, like, do you know what I mean? Or feeling sorry for myself. So when I do these things, like, talk about grief, it's not, trying to, like, generate any sort of, like, sympathy, but this is just the reality of it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's up to us to, like, you know what? We've got to live this life, man. We deserve it. Like, we actually deserve it. Yeah. Because, come on, people die every day. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, like, you can go through something like that and you're not coming back up. And don't get me wrong, this is not to say that if someone is struggling to come back up, going through such a large volume of loss, but like we're still here, and that's, some people might say as, that's down to them, but I say, okay, that's down to God and just. So like, I know He's got me, so like, no, so I deserve to, if it's the holiday, just justify everything you want to do by that. Yeah, it may not make sense. You may think, okay, right now I haven't got the thing to do this, but you know what? I deserve this, rather than, because no one cares. The thing about it this way, and it's not to say that, people have a right to move on with their lives, but cool. Maybe after the first year, people don't remember. People don't remember birthdays anymore.
When
people
the
don't.
funeral's done, everyone goes back to normal, and you have to navigate this whole new space of living without one person. Because everyone comes together, like, you have people in your house every day. Every day, do you need food? Do you need drink? Do you need childcare? Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need any support when you lead up to the funeral? Funeral comes, funeral goes. After the celebration of life, because obviously, the funeral bits are very, very, very sad.
Yeah.
Cool. After you've done the funeral reception, and everybody leaves, you send out a message to say to everyone, thank you for coming, and that's it.
For everyone, and that's the thing. It's almost like that is life as well, but at the same time, it's also more reason why you should just put yourself first. 100%. Like, of course, sometimes, because I think that's something I struggle with. I'm trying to get my head on it, just learn bit by bit. Learn to put yourself first. Learn to, without any sort of guilt, or because you're right. No one is gonna. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying your friends don't care about you or your family don't care about you, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you to let what I need to do for me. And sometimes that can be hard to think clearly about it because you've got other things, maybe responsibilities.
Yeah.
Or so you may think like, maybe right now I need to think about this person, that person. But sometimes, no, man, you got to learn to put yourself, because no one's gonna do it. And that's one thing my mum always did, put herself first. So I think it's reflecting on that. I remember to myself, she always put herself first. Like no matter what, regardless of what I wouldn't say back, like how people might respond to that, but she's putting herself first, and she's not gonna double down. She's not gonna be like, oh well, okay, let me just say no. She put herself first. And looking back now, I'm glad she did that, because she didn't live a life of, it's like she passed away, but she wasn't happy. Like she was just sad all the time. Like, do you know what I mean? But she, like, there's so many good memories, like, so many good, so I'm thankful for that because she lived a life on her terms, and it's like, that is what I want to aspire to, like, because honestly, man, like, that life's hard as it is. It's again, it's grief is enough to just have you live in a misery, always thinking, like, oh, would there be better days ahead? And sometimes you wish someone will tell you that, but you have to say, no, you know what? Sometimes just give them a say, no, like, you've been through a lot, like, so nobody can't make you feel any less than. You got to put yourself first. Sometimes it may be hard where you got to let people down as a result, not because you're trying to just. I'm not saying go out there and just be like being an idiot towards people. Or, do you know what I mean? But just put yourself first. If it's like however that may be for you, it depends. You know what it looks like, but don't feel like, oh, I've done this, but I really wanted to do this. Like, put yourself. If people are mad, okay, cool. Like, if you lose people along the way, okay, fair enough. Like, it is what it is, and I put myself first rather than like. And this is a whole like separate combo, but even it's like kind of ties on people pleasing. Like, after a while, you're gonna realize, you know what, like, you can't always get people pleasing. Once you got to show for it, people that you're pleasing are gonna go in their lives as they should. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, you got like, yeah, grief is one of those things that it teaches. It's like almost like it forces you to like learn about yourself, and again, that's for you might be different in terms of what it's teaching you, but for me, that's what it's like. I'm learning from it, like, you know, okay, I need to learn for myself first, like, and be intentional about it, like, because I'm so passive in terms of like, okay, I'm always an afterthought to myself. I never like, okay, let me say everything, okay, you know, what is that to do for me? It's never that. It's always, you know, and then when I slowly like try to get out of that, I'm always like, oh wow, shit, this is mad. I'm not used to this.
What I will say to you though is that while you have, I'm gonna say, less responsibility, I think it's really important to understand yourself. Really learn to prioritize yourself, because you will be forced into prioritizing yourself later down the line if you don't. Like, you don't want to be forced. Like, so I use the analogy of like fitness. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I had a health scare, that's why I said let me start taking my health more seriously. Just take your health more seriously, just generally. It's not every day pizza and I'm doing that. Sometimes like just like go gym, like it's more like mental. Like, I was so unwell this week and I physically could not go to the gym, and it ruined me mentally. I was just like, this is low, and I had to force myself out, and people were like, oh, but you need to rest though. And I was like, no, I need to go to the gym. You don't tell me what's good for me. This is what's good for me. Like, people need to find a thing, like a healthy outlet to manage their emotions, to manage themselves, to prioritize themselves. People a lot of the time wait until they have a health scare before they do something about it. Like, don't wait until your parent is on the brink of passing before you're like, let me love you a little bit more. Like, be proactive in doing these things. So for you, I would say be proactive in prioritizing yourself. Like I was saying earlier, my dad didn't prioritize himself. He prioritized his family, which is very admirable, very noble thing to do. He was a man's man. He was very much like, I will take care of it. I've got this. My younger brother has taken on a lot of that. Like, he prioritizes his family, which is brilliant. But on balance, he also knows how to prioritize himself. And sometimes he's like, I love you lot, but if you, I'm on my own thing. I'm gonna go and do my own thing. Same thing with my daughter. Sometimes I'm literally like, I love the bones of you, but leave me alone. This is not for you. Anything that I can bring you in on, I'm going to bring you.
But right now,
this is me.
And that's what I like. That, and that's when I hear something. That's what I aspire to, like, gradually one day adopt. Like, you know, just sometimes like, you spend this get exhausted and worrying about, oh, okay, like everyone else apart from yourself. Always overthinking about, like, do you know what I mean? But afterwards, like, okay, how long are you gonna just be doing this where, like, you don't put yourself first? If you just, like, sometimes you want to go do your own thing, whether that's, I don't know, whether a solo trip or whatever it may be, whatever you feel
Do it
that
all.
is you need to do for you. Do it without thinking, oh, but what if I can't do it?
No.
Should I do it? Oh, let me tell this person that, what they're gonna think if I didn't, maybe I didn't call them because I didn't bring them in. Maybe they wanted to go travel to that place. Do you know what I mean? All these, you know what I mean?
Bro, if you wanted to
go to questions.
Like, you could be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go, I don't know, Rotterdam. You booked to go Rotterdam. You go, and someone says to you, oh, you didn't tell me. Why should I tell you? If you wanted to go, you could have said as well. Like, we're all grown up.
Or it's a thing where like they might say, oh, you didn't even let me know you were booking. Like,
no.
Like,
if you felt like you might want to go, then you could have said something. We both didn't say something. The difference is I booked it.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. Sometimes you want to do your own thing. It's cool, man. Like, it's not.
We need to normalize that, because when you're in, like, particularly with this grief thing, you are on your own.
Yeah.
And I know we've said a lot, like, people don't care. It's not they don't care in the sense of, oh, F you, I don't care. It's that their priority is not you. Like, your priority is what's making you happy. They're prioritizing themselves, and rightly so.
Yeah.
But like I said, funeral will pass. Someone might check in from time to time, how you go. But I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't feel like I get asked a lot, like, how you coping with your grief on a day-to-day, outside of the anniversaries, the birthdays, the Christmases, or when you vocalize like that you're triggered by something, that people don't really ask. People don't ask about, like, the fear that you might have. Like, for example, me, my biggest fear, like, right now, I don't know if I want to get married. And I don't know if I want to get married because I can't even watch people's wedding videos without getting triggered. Like, I can't watch somebody's dad walk them down the aisle without thinking, but like, that's never going to be me. Like, I can't think about, like, I saw someone's, there's an influencer, Lydia Dinga, she got married recently.
Yeah, I think so. Was it recently?
Yeah, it was quite recent.
Okay, I think I've seen, I saw
it was this year.
Still. Yeah.
So I saw, like, some parts, and I remember watching it. Someone sent me the whole, like, the whole Insta post. It was a reel, but it was long in it. And I remember someone sending it to me, and I was like, why are you sending me this? Like, this is triggering as hell. Like, it's a beautiful wedding. I don't want to take that away from her. Like, she ain't checking for me like that, so it's fine. But this is triggering. There's all of the build up. There's all, like, people's mums praying for their daughters on their wedding day. I'm never gonna have that. Yeah. There's, like, like, I've got aunts. I've got, like, my brothers there. Like, oh yeah, like, if you got married, I'll walk you down the aisle. Bro, it's not the same thing. Like, I love you for it. I appreciate you, but it's not the same thing. But no one is checking for you like that. People don't check in on, like your mental and how that stuff affects you. There's the last year, I don't go church on Father's Day, don't go church on Mother's Day. This is the first year I went to church on Mother's Day, and I struggled. I went to church on Father's Day, I cried all the way through the service. And that, my church family had me, and I loved that. But it's not the same. The one person that can take this pain away is not him, and nothing I can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not your fault. It just is what it is. But this is why you have to prioritize yourself. Every single motive I've gone to since, I'm gonna say February, I've gone by myself. I'm not taking none of you lot with me. If you want to come. I'm telling you, this is where I'm going. I'm not going for you. I'm going for me. Yeah,
exactly. You're not putting you're more so, listen, that's one thing. If you want to come, cool. It's not like, oh, but I think they're doing this. You're not checking in like, this is what I'm going to do. You're just doing it, and you're not worrying about, and again, I feel like I want to be where you are, where, like, okay, you know what, just stop, just for a little bit, just think about what you want to do for you. Like, it doesn't have to be anything like important or what you want to do for you.
You're planning it, though.
I'm trying to say,
stop planning it, just do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's always a thought that, okay, let me find out before I can do it. Do I have to, like, sort of overthinking it rather than just doing it without worrying about others. But yeah, it's a learning thing.
Like, and you're gonna learn. Like, the older you get, you're gonna learn all of these things. You're gonna learn, like, it is literally just you. No matter what way you look at it, it's not to be dark or not to be, like, pessimistic about anything. Literally, you've only got you, and you need to focus on the things that will get you through the day. Be it around your grief. If you can reach out to people and you can express yourself. If you feel safe enough to express yourself with people, then do.
Yeah.
If you don't, try and figure out a way that you can have your outlet to get through when you do have those moments. Because I mentioned earlier that with grief, yeah, sometimes you are thriving. Like at the moment, I feel like I'm pretty up there, like in terms of how I feel. Like I feel happy, I feel content. There are other days that I'm barely getting through the day. Like I'm on the ropes and I've got to do what I've got to do to get through it.
Yeah, grief can have you on the ropes, but at the same time, you can get to a place where you're actually happy. It's not fake happy, but you're actually happy. Do you know what I mean? So that's a roller coaster, but it's just up and down. And honestly, and the thing with your story as well, which I thought was inspiring, because that having like even just like grief back to back. So it's the grief of the parents surviving cancer, and it's like all these things. It's like you're still here, like, to tell the tale, and I think that's beautiful, man. Because listen, life's not again. It's not saying the strong thing. Yeah, you are strong, but that doesn't mean everyone has their moments, man. Everyone can retreat and like step back from everything or go on a break, what they need to do. So I appreciate you coming on, and this doesn't necessarily have to be the last, because I think there's so much conversations around it. So I do thank you, man, coming on. I know it's tough. So I appreciate that. And before we go, I don't know, is there anything you want to plug? I know you do quite a lot of stuff.
Oh.
So anything you want to let them know about?
Yeah, I'm a personal trainer, fitness instructor. I do a lot of fitness stuff. That's like my bag. Like I do a lot of fitnessy things, but I don't do like one style of fitness. I'm not a do 50 burpees and eat unseasoned chicken type babe. Like no, please. I believe in balance. Like I eat a lot, I drink a lot. I don't drink a lot. No, I'm not an alcoholic. Let me just caveat that. But yeah, like obviously I'm here for people who need an outlet. It's not just lifting weights and all of that stuff. Sometimes it's expressing yourself through like dancing, fitness, and that kind of stuff, because I feel like everybody has it in them to move their bodies, be it like in the more conventional ways or in the less conventional ways. And I'm honestly like, I'm an open book. Like when people have questions for me about like all of this stuff, and even just coping on a day-to-day basis, even that, because I'm a single mum as well, like just coping with all of these responsibilities. Like I'm an open book, and I'm always happy to kind of be like, oh yeah, like let me guide you with whatever you need, sort of thing. But my main thing, like at the moment, is like I'm doing a lot of fitness stuff at the moment. So if people have questions, I was a big babe before, man. We never touched on any. I was fat, man. Like my nickname was Fatso. But we're not there no more now. Like I'm strong, and I can bench press anyone's dad, but like man, I'm a strong babe. But fitness is my thing.
No, obviously I don't want to sort of put it out there. I don't know, maybe you're being too modest, but you got tell them about the I don't know, I call it the masterclass you and Justine do. Oh yeah, sorry, I know, I don't want to okay, but
this because it's not my thing. Oh, I'm even wearing gym shop today. It's not my thing. Like obviously I work with Justine. And I've done a lot of I've done campaigns with Gymshark with her. Like it's such a vibe. Again,
I see some of the clips, and it's having having fun, man.
It's her, man. She's that's my aga. That's my aga. Like she's doing her thing, man. For Black women in fitness, I think she's opened the doors for a lot of us, and she's not gatekeeping or trying to be the person to be because I struggle, you lot must struggle as well. She's proper, she brings everyone in. She's the fitness plug. And I've known Gina for years, man. And it's so nice to see her realizing her dream and being able to be alongside her doing that stuff. Because in my wildest dreams, I never thought that I'd do anything with a brand as big as Gymshark. I've had some amazing collaborations. I've met a lot of amazing people. And just being, this is it's sad, it's bittersweet, because this is stuff that I would my mum, she would have been my cheerleader. She would be at everything with me. And I really miss her for that. I miss both my parents, because I know that they would be on the sidelines, but God has his reasons as to why everything happens the way it happens. And I just pray that as they're watching, they continue to see me thriving seeing me doing my thing, because like they would be proud, just because obviously they
100%.
reared me and they saw me in my bigger stages. They saw, like, they've seen the work. And
Yeah.
there's like a saying that you will get to enjoy your children, like you will enjoy the fruits of your labor, sort of thing. And unfortunately, my parents will not be able to see that like that, but hopefully they can see what I do and the things I do, like for my daughter as well.
Yeah, man. Like it's
But-
good. It's good. I think that like I said, I was a bit inspired, and it's just again just me and others, like some people are just like not afraid to tell their story. Again, talking isn't it's not like it's a must to share, but it helps. It helps.
Yeah.
So thank you, man. It's
Thank
been a long one after a long hiatus, but
you.
it's been a pleasure, man. And yeah, so I really appreciate you coming on and just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, because it's not easy. So like I said I should have probably like put a few trigger warnings. I know it's been quite a heavy one, but hope it's helped people watching. Hope it's helped you, and I've taken a few gems from what Kane discussed. But yeah, that's a wrap. So thank you everyone for listening and tuning in.